Biology class 10, chapter 8, circulatory system. So, good morning students. In the last video we have seen the difference between the arteries and vein. Today we will see more difference between arteries and vein. So, first arteries, blood vessels which carry blood away from the heart and into an organ. So arteries carry blood away from the heart to the organ, and veins which carry blood away from the body and towards the heart, except hepatic portal vein. Structure. So lastly we have seen the structure. Here again we'll continue. Progressively branched, decreasing in size. It progressively unite and increasing in size. Smallest arteries breaks into arterioles. Smallest vein arises from venule. Have thick and more muscular wall. Have thin and less muscular wall. Walls are elastic. Walls are non-elastic. Have narrow lumen, wider lumen. No valves in their inner line. Have valves in the inner line. Can constrict or dilate to control blood flow. Cannot constrict. Usually deeply situated in the body, and veins are superficially situated in the body. See, these are the veins. These are superficially located in the body, but arteries are deeply situated, except few, like where we used to find out our pulse. Do not collapse when empty, but veins collapse when it is empty. Blood flow with jerks and under great pressure. Here blood flow continuously and uniformly. Carry fully oxygenated blood except pulmonary artery, and carry deoxygenated blood except pulmonary vein. So these are the difference between the arteries and vein. Now see, 2. Blood circulation, pulmonary and systematic circulation. So first see the double circulation again. So what is double circulation? This is the four-chambered human heart. This left auricle, left ventricle, right auricle. Left auricle receives pure blood from the from the lungs, and the right auricle receives impure blood from the upper and lower body parts. Left ventricle pump pure blood to the body parts, and right ventricle pump impure blood to the lungs. So here, to complete one circulation, blood enters twice into the heart, from lung to the left auricle, from body parts to the right auricle. So this is double circulation, but the circulation between the lungs and the heart is called pulmonary circulation, and the circulation of blood between the heart and the body part is called systematic circulation. So pulmonary circulation as well as systematic circulation together known as double circulation. Clear all of you? Now come to the next topic, hepatic portal system. So what is hepatic portal system? A system that starts with the capillaries, and ends with capillaries. Such system is called hepatic portal system. It starts with capillaries and ends with capillaries. Such system is called hepatic portal system. See, this is the gut or intestine. So from the intestine, capillaries are there. These capillaries are meant for the absorption of carbohydrate and the protein. So here excess carbohydrate and protein conveyed to the liver. So this is the hepatic portal system because this system absorbs excess amount of carbohydrate and proteins from the intestine and convey it to the liver where they are either stored in the form of glycogen or the in protein the nitrogen part convert into the ammonia. So this system is called hepatic portal system, but here it is called hepatic portal vein because this capillaries arises from one organ, and the vein that leaves the liver is called hepatic vein, and the fresh blood vessel that enter into the liver is called hepatic artery. So this is the hepatic artery, this is the hepatic portal vein, and this is the hepatic vein. Here hepatic portal arises from the term porter, that means carrier of excess amount of glucose or carb proteins to the liver. Clear? So this is called hepatic portal system. Now next, what is pulse? Pulse is the alternate expansion and elastic recoil of the wall of the artery during ventricular systole. This is how we count it. So what is pulse? Means uh, if we gently press our thumb on the wrist, we will feel some rhythmic contraction. That rhythmic contraction is due to the alternate contraction and relaxation of the ventricles, because ventricles are the chamber that pump blood to the body part. So when ventricles contract, blood rushes into the arteries and into the arterioles with a great pressure, with a jerk, and due to that pressure the arterial wall undergoes contraction and relaxation, and that alternate expansion and elastic recoil of the wall of the artery during ventricular systole is called pulse. Clear all of you? Now blood pressure. Blood pressure is the pressure which the blood flow through the artery exert on their walls. There are two limits of this pressure. The upper limit is systolic pressure, which is at the time when fresh blood is pushing through the artery as a result of the ventricular contraction of the heart. Means when the ventricles contract, when the blood rushes from the ventricles to the body parts as well as to the lungs. A pressure created, such pressure is known as systolic pressure. The lower limit, diastolic pressure, is one recorded when the wave has passed over. Means when the blood rushes into the aorta and the pulmonary artery. That pressure is called diastolic pressure. The normal blood pressure for adult is 100 to 140 mm systolic and 60 to 80 mm diastolic. A rise in blood pressure above 140/90 is called hypertension, and blood pressure can be measured by instrument known as sphygmomanometer. Clear all of you? Now in the first half, we in the must means in the beginning of the chapter we have studied about the tissue fluid relief. Now come to the function of lymph. So lymph is a fluid that basically contains leukocyte, mostly lymphocyte, but no RBC and blood platelet, and the non-cellular part included water and some solid particles like protein, fats, carbohydrate, enzymes, antibody, etc. This lymph is very useful to the body. Why? First, it supplies nutrition to those parts and oxygen where blood cannot reach. So provide nutrition to those parts where blood vessels cannot. But lymphatic vessels are non-muscular. Their movement depend on the movements of body. That's why it is suggested to have a regular exercise, because regular exercise facilitates the movement of substance in the lymphatic vessels. Second, drainage. It drains away excess tissue fluid and metabolites and return proteins to the blood from tissue species. Absorption. Fats from the intestines are absorbed through lymphatics, means lacteals, in intestine or in the villus or villi of intestine. There are two types of branches. First, capillaries mean for the absorption of carbohydrate and protein, and lacteals especially mean for the absorption of fats. So fats from the intestine are absorbed through lymphatic lacteals located in the intestinal villi. And defense. This lymph contain lymphocytes and monocytes of the lymph function is to defend the body. The lymphatics also remove bacteria from the tissue. I am meant to experience a painful swelling in your groins or in the axials of arms when you get a ball injury in the limbs. This is the protective sign. The lymph node tend to localize the infection and prevent it from spreading to the body as a whole. The tonsil on the sides of the neck are also lymph glands. Now spleen. The spleen, the large lymphatic organ about the size of clenched fist, reddish brown in color and situated in the abdomen behind the stomach and above the left kidney. It acts like a blood reservoir in emergencies such as hemorrhage, when excess bleeding takes place from the body, physical emotional stress, or in carbon monoxide poisoning. The spleen releases the stored blood into the bloodstream. Second, it produces lymphocytes or the WBC, destroy one out red blood cell. In embryo, spleen produces RBC. So this is the end of the chapter circulatory system. Tomorrow we'll discuss about the next chapter excretion. Okay, have a good day all of you. Bye.